HabNormals is 1 year old. We made it through the first year. Hey, everybody. I'm Rick. That's Matt. What do we got for you today? Well, we're going to give you a little bit of Habs news that I've got. We're going to talk about Coach Marty's job. Is it safe? Should they bring in an experienced coach to help back him up? What's wrong with the team right now? Let's see. Updated predictions for the season finish. We've already made predictions. We're going to update them. We're going to take a look at last week's games and next week's games and a new segment, Habs, 3 stars of the week. That's right here on HabNormals.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
Hey, everybody, we're back. We have spent a year doing this already. Can you believe that?
We
It's been a year?
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's cool. You know, I love doing this, and the people love listening. So,
and even though it's been a year, we're still looking for our first viewer. So, hey, you might be like that. No. Yeah, it's been a year. It's been fun, and hopefully we'll do this for many more years. And hopefully one of these years we'll have a team that is gonna be worth talking about. But till then, we're gonna talk about the Habs as they are right now. I do have let's see, where is it? Tiny bit of news for you guys before we get into the bulk of this podcast. So the first piece of news is Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki is top 4 in fewest games to reach 300 career points. The leader of that is Stefan Richer in 336 games. Saku Koivu took 381 games. Chris Chelios 385, and Nick Suzuki 389 games to get to 300 points. That's an accomplishment. That, I believe, also is in the last 23 years, 35 years, something like that. It's not in their whole history, I do believe. The other piece of news, and this one we'll talk about, and that is Jacob Fowler. So this is, we all know Jacob Fowler. We don't have to really go over everything.
I'm not panicking about the goaltending situation.
He is 7-1-0 this year. He's got Boston College. I mean, he's a big part of why they're number 2 ranked in the NCAA. Let's see. He was selected by Montreal 69th overall in the last draft. No, 2 drafts ago, I guess now, right? He has a 7-1-0 record, like I said. 3 shutouts, a 1.26 goals against average, and a 9.50 save percentage. As a freshman last season at Boston College, Fowler had a 32-6-1 record and 3 shutouts, a 2.14 goals against average, and a 9.26 save percentage. Now, the funny thing here, the reason I wanted to talk about this, the quote I wanted is not in this, so I don't know what I did with it. But the point being that Fowler said kind of that he's not in any rush to finish his college career and to get to the NHL. He knows, he said he'd rather be over ready than under ready.
No problem with that at all.
He doesn't feel in a rush to get there. He wants to be fully, being, I guess, the guy that can do what he did in college in the NHL. So what I took from that is very likely Fowler stays in college 1 more year than we thought. From the sound of what I read,
but I'm cool with that.
And he might even stay there for the 4 years. Partially, I imagine he's a smart kid. He probably wants the education as well.
Oh, he is. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. And as much as to stay in Boston College is athletics, because these guys, my baby, Notre Dame. No, in terms of academics, it's one of the best colleges in the country. I mean, it really is. So he's, I'll honestly be very, very happy for him to finish his degree and get to play in the NHL. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility, but I don't know if he'll go forward. It doesn't sound kind of like that, although he mentioned, 3-4 years. He did mention it, but it sounded to me like we might have to wait an extra year for Jacob Fowler. But I do say this. If he stays the extra year in college, he's not going to the AHL.
No.
He'll be coming straight up to Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he'll stick at that point because this kid, the real deal. I don't know.
I mean, the
don't know
numbers
how else
speak
to
for
put it.
themselves. And look, Maine's a good team. I mean, Maine, I think, was ranked like number 6 in the country. So to shut them out, I mean, that's.
But just look at his record. I mean, he went to college, didn't skip a beat going to college, stepped up a tier, and didn't miss a beat in his numbers. If anything, he was better. So, this kid is gonna if he leaves after this season, he'll go probably to the AHL for a year, maybe less. But I think if he stays the extra year in college, he's going to come straight up to Montreal. So either way, I'm expecting him to be here in that same time frame.
Even the eye test too. I mean, like I said, I was at I've watched him on TV a bunch, but in person, like when I was at the Hockey East Championship game last year, like just the way he positions himself. I mean, just the way he reads the game, like he's already at an NHL level in terms of his IQ.
Yep.
And just his quickness, like he's decisive. He doesn't hesitate. When he wants to make, when he's going to do something, he's going to do it. Doesn't hesitate at all. He's got great vision too. I remember there was a play, like he didn't hesitate at all. The puck was coming in. BC was on they're going on a power play. He came out right away, got to the puck, and ended up getting an assist on a goal. So it's just, his decision making and his IQ already at NHL level.
Yep, he just needs he just needs to be finished with college. But whether he stays the next year or not, I don't think it affects when he gets here. Is I guess my point here. So Jacob Fowler, A1. What a pick that was! I mean, just what a pick that's going to turn out to be. That
no, I mean, seriously, right? And overall. I know obviously we're all frustrated with the goaltending right now, but again, that's why I don't lose my mind because I'm going, well, I mean, first, like I said, once we're out of this rebuild, he's our goalie.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can see that far ahead. I can go, well, listen, we have him. Like, don't panic. We have him.
Yeah, and there's no need to panic. The only people that are panicking and are upset, whatever, are the fans that just haven't got the patience to ride out the rebuild. I don't see where they have a choice, but I think they're the only ones. The fans that get what a rebuild is, maybe frustrated. I mean, we are, but we know what's involved and kind of time frames and everything. So, yeah, he'll be here by the time Montreal's out of this rebuild. If that is the case, it's 5 years. He will be here in Montreal. Maybe even be here already for a year. So, to kind of start that.
Well, Hage will be here too.
The beginning of the end of the rebuild years.
Hage will probably be here about the same time too.
Yeah, probably about the same time. That's right. As long as his, he's also trending in the same kind of direction.
He's been just unreal in his freshman campaign so far at Michigan. Like, it's just crazy.
All right, let's address something that's being talked about a lot. Not only in the game chats in the chat. I can't go in the chat in the game streams that I do. And online, like on Twitter, on Facebook. I mean, everybody seems to be talking about, is Coach Marty's, that's Marty St. Louis, is his job safe? So is it Marty's fault what's going on? And is his job in jeopardy because of it? And a lot of people want to see a coaching change. I don't get why, personally. So I'll let you answer that first. Is Coach Marty's job in jeopardy?
No, not even close. Well, I don't want to say not even close, but I don't think it's something that's probably even being talked about in terms of because here's the thing, right? We're only in the third year of the rebuild. These kids are still young. They're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna learn from their mistakes. Like there's not like if you understand how a rebuild works, like you and I and other fans out there, you understand these are just growing pains. It's not our D-core is Mike Matheson, who He's either very good or very bad. David Savard, who's slow as molasses, and then like a bunch of 20-year-olds. So they got growing up to do. They're still going to get better. It's just patience, really. And I just think a lot of people are running out of it, which, again, I don't agree with because, again, this is how rebuild works. And I know you brought up the other day, too. You and I were talking, and, that stat where, like, of the past, I forget how many years it was, but, the 5-year rebuilds that we've seen, year 3, there is a bit of regression. So again, nothing that I'm really going to panic about, nothing that I'm going to lose sleep over. Again, I think in the long run, we're fine. I think we'll be all right. It's just, again, a patience thing. And I just think a lot of fans don't have that. And again, I just don't think they see what's in front of them, what we're building towards. Right.
Yep.
And again, time will tell, but I mean, we've already seen how much of an impact Lane Hudson's had already. So
that stat, by the way, is not a stat.
Or not a stat, but
what it is a writer that I read a lot of. He did the research, and teams, I don't know how far back he went, to be honest, but teams that rebuild with an expected 5-year rebuild, down to a team with very, very, very few exceptions, which you're talking about 1, maybe 2 times. They all in year 3 regressed. Every single team regressed except, say, 1, maybe 2 teams. So, Montreal is actually where they should be when you think about it. So, is his job safe? Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, absolutely, his job is safe. Absolutely, this year. Beyond this year, it's hard to tell right now but this year, he's not getting fired.
No.
I dare say if they lost every single game the rest of the year, he's not getting fired. Although that's probably wrong, but you can get my meaning, right? The team could get a little worse, and he's still not getting fired. So there's no problem there. It's a rebuilding team. This is not on him. There is progression as far as talent and how they're getting through. How they're getting through the years, their experience. I see progression there. I know that from everything I've heard from the GM, from Gorton as well, they're happy with the job being done. So, he's not getting fired. There's not a chance in hell. But what may happen, and this is not official at all, but this is fans are talking about it as well, and I think it's a good idea. And that is to hire an experienced bench coach that can back him up as far as, advice. Because sure, he's a young coach, Marty. He's a young coach. He doesn't have a lot of experience, no doubt there. He make mistakes. He's gonna make mistakes as well. It'd be good to have a guy, I don't know to name however many names, but someone experienced, knows how to make those decisions that maybe Marty might be struggling with. I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, look, I don't see any problem with that at all, and I think it could only serve to really benefit the team. Because I think you're right, and I think it's in a way it's sort of the same logic where if you have a young team that's rebuilding, you want to surround them with veterans, right? It's sort of that same logic where you obviously have a coach who's just starting out, really, right? I mean, this is what his
third full season.
So, bring in a veteran to help him around and maybe change some things. But look, the point of this is, Marty's not there to in win now mode per se, right? He's there to teach and to just develop and bring these guys along right now. Obviously he's there to win games, but
it's a change. No, it's a shift in their season. Going into the season, I don't know if it was Marty. I know Hugh said it that they think that there's a possibility they could be in the mix for the playoffs come the end of the season. So they're going to, do whatever. Coach Marty said this year wins and losses matter. But then 2 weeks ago, after everything's going on, right? I think a week and a half ago even, I did see, I I don't know if it was from a video, pregame press conference or something, or a written story, where it's no longer that. It's now back to being about teaching and development. Wins and losses. I think this is I read this from a quote from him. Wins and losses aren't important this season. So they've gone back to that. Because I think like fans, they jumped the gun as well. They jumped the gun thinking they were better than they were. And I don't know where that came from. You would think that they'd know this, that the third season in a rebuild, you're probably going to regress. But I mean, we heard Hughes say it, that they would like to be in the mix. They think they can be in the mix. That's their mindset coming into this season, is to make the playoffs.
Yeah. No, and look, I think obviously too. I think losing Patrick Laine changed some of that a little bit.
Well,
Right?
it had
obviously.
to. That was the beginning of that change mindset, right?
Right. But no, again, like I don't. To me, I don't see that as like a, like what some fans are like. It's the end of the world. Like, so what? They need we jumped the gun. It is what what happens. We can
but that's wrong. The reason why we
Rick will never admit it, but he could. We can be wrong.
Fans' reaction is the reason why we haven't had a rebuild here. And listen, the management, I don't know how many different management groups over those last 30 years, they weren't wrong. Montreal fans in general cannot handle a portion of Montreal fans cannot handle a rebuild. I don't know if it's half or more, but it feels like it's more than half, right? Locally here anyway, the stuff that I see have interactions with. So that's the reason why we've never gone through a rebuild, is literally the management didn't think the fans could handle it, and they're kind of right. But now we're in the rebuild, and you know what? You're in the rebuild. You don't change that and start over again unless there's a reason for that. And when we're in our third year, there's no reason to restart a rebuild, redo it over. There's no reason at all. Let them stay the course.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think anyone can deny the talent, right, that the youngsters have. Right? Again, I think it just takes time to kind of, for some of them to realize that.
I don't think anybody's valid when they do that, but I see a lot of people, saying that this one's shit and that one's shit and our whole team is shit. And it's not valid. I mean, that's just not a valid.
No, I mean, Lane Hudson isn't third in Calder rankings right now just because he's crap, right? Because he's not, right? He's been amazing, and guys like Caulfield's on an insane goal scoring pace, probably going to hit 40 plus if he keeps it up. Suzuki's over a point a game. Slavkovsky's almost at a point a game.
Caulfield has to have a bad drop off not to hit 40 at this point.
I think so.
Well, think about it. He's got 12. He needs 28 to hit 40. He's got 67 games left. 66. No, maybe 65. But still, 65 games to get 20. What did I say? To get 28 more goals. Come on. How bad of a drop-off would he have to not get the 40 goals at this point? Right? Yeah. That's my opinion anyway. So
I agree.
Another, if another 15 games go by and he's still at the pace he's at, now we're talking 50 and 60. But right now, to say, will he get 40? Geez, it would almost be a disaster if he doesn't. At this point, right?
Yeah, and look at
last year, so he needs to get that again.
No, look, obviously, and it's kind of funny because Slav is like the opposite. Slav's got a shitload of assists, but he's got the one goal. I'd like to see a little bit more goal scoring out of him, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Cole Caulfield. Like we're seeing the Cole Caulfield that we drafted, that we knew that we drafted, and I love it.
Stat line now on pace for 62 goals, 5 assists. It's a funny stat. And it won't be. I mean, he'll have more than 5 assists. I doubt he has 62 goals. but he's on pace for that now. So all he has to do is keep it up, which is easier said than done. But I mean, to think, can he hit 40? Something would have to go horribly wrong for that not to happen. And knock wood, that's not going to happen. And as far as Slav, though, I'm totally perfectly fine with the guy, the Slavkovsky that played the last game. If we could get that guy every game, and I don't care if he doesn't score, but he's going to set up a hell of a lot of goals that way.
For sure. And look, I think another part of his game that I've really liked, that I think he's really exponentially gotten better at, is his puck pursuit and his forechecking. I mean, when he's in the ozone forechecking, he's like, I've said it on stream, he's like a dog going after like a steak. Yeah, like it's incredible how aggressive he is and how well he can use his body now and win pucks. And that's why he sets up a lot of goals.
He doesn't do it every game, though. That's the problem. But man, when he's on like he was,
I
mean, listen, he's a young kid, right? So
yeah, I think he's only 20, right?
Right. Part of his learning curve and everything is going to be consistency in that, right? Yeah. So that's going to come. But when he plays like he did on the last game, which was what are we Wednesday? So that was Monday, the afternoon game. They were just. It was crazy. Is that the game? If I got the right one, the 7-5. They had he had 3 assists, right? That was that game. Yeah. When he plays like that, wow, he's a thing of beauty to watch. He works hard. He doesn't give up, and then he makes these beautiful little passes.
He's such an underrated passer. He really is.
It's crazy, subtle little, passes that lead to goals. So yeah, they just need to find consistency. Will they find it this year? I don't know. With the regression, I don't know. I hope by the time Laine gets back, they'll find themselves in a better spot. It'd probably be too late at that point in the season for them to make the playoffs, which is fine. But I don't know that we're going to see, like when Laine comes back, are they going to go on a winning streak and all that? I don't know. They're probably going to play better and put up some more goals. Will that lead to more wins? Will it get them out of the basement? I don't know. It's likely that it won't, but for fans watching, it'll be a lot more fun. So we have to get through a year where they're regressing, and we're going to have another bottom finish. If they can score some goals and be competitive, I don't care if they're high-scoring games at that point. Just let's have fun.
Yep.
Because Monday.
Look, if Cole Caulfield puts up over 40 goals, like I don't even care if we regressed. Like that's insane.
Yeah, if we get that year, right? Caulfield gets to 40 goals. Suzuki's a point-a-game player. Slav hits 70 points, something like that. If we can do that, it's still going to be a good season overall. And then if we get a top 3 pick out of that, wow, was all I could say. Right?
Yeah.
Because we could really use...
Considering Demidov's going to come over next year. And you had him in the mix.
And
Page in a couple years. I mean, like I said, it's... There's so much talent. It's still even in the pool, and
but it's still not enough. That's the point. It's hard to believe that, and I don't even believe I'm saying it, but it's the truth, right? As much talent as we've, has been inputted to the team over the last few drafts, it's not enough. And what's missing is what we got last year, right? We got that top 5 pick, and then that second guy in the first round, Hage. We got 2 real top quality players there. We're still missing a little bit more of that. And honestly, as much as I like Doc and I've talked him up, and I'm starting to be convinced that maybe he's not the second line center we need. He might be better off on the wing. He may be. But like if we can get, like that kid that everyone's talking about, like there's a possibility if we stay this bad, we can end up with this kid Higgins, who's a center. There's another really good center in this draft as well. We can get one of those 2 guys. Now we're building something. Like now with Suzuki and this kid down the road, we're talking about that's cup calendar top 2 centers there. You know what else I like about that, what I just said? Yeah, I'm hearing people talk like this. They're no longer saying Suzuki's not a top 6 center or a number one. Like they're not saying
he's got
that
300 points in 389 games. I don't. What more do you want from him?
They're
Like
finally stopping. Less people are saying that now, which is good.
It's crazy talk. It's crazy talk.
Okay,
he's one of the best centers in the league, for Christ's sake. I mean, he really is. You know how many teams would kill to have him?
Oh, without a doubt. You don't have to sell me on it. But it's nice to see now that talk is dying off. You're not hearing any of the writers or experts or whatever talking about it anymore. And you're not hearing as many of the fans talk about that anymore. It's just Doc. Now we're worried, okay, is Doc a number 2 center? It's a legitimate question. Right now, until Doc shows us something more, definitely it's a legitimate question. I haven't given up on the kid. And I think if he's not going to be the center, well, he's going to be a freaking awesome winger.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say, right? Like,
so
if it doesn't work out at center,
win-win.
That's another power forward on the wing.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation. It's not about.
Look, like you said, we can get, if they get Hagens this draft or whatever, another top center, that's amazing. Like you said, too. I mean, Michael Hage, I think, honestly, his floor might be a number 2 center. The way he's going right now. Hage is amazing.
Yeah, okay, but you might be right. But definitely where they said he's a second line center. There's no doubt about that. He's a second line center from the way he's playing right now. Right. There's no doubt. At minimum, he's everything that he was.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean that's what I mean. Plus, again, I mean you have, depth, and obviously Owen Beck is still developing in Laval, like, but
yeah. I know, I agree. I'm less enthused about Owen Beck and everything but I'm not. It's not about. I'm not knocking him.
But I'm just saying though, there's still, like, obviously we can still get more guys high in the draft. But again, there's still a lot of of depth here.
No, there is a ton of depth and good quality depth too. But we may need to get more yet, and that's all there is to it. Is that maybe this is a good thing, even though we're expecting to have a really good season and be, all enthused about it and everything. But maybe in the end, it's a good thing that Montreal's going to get that another piece, not just not just a good prospect, but a potential star or superstar in the league, because that's what's needed. Brian Wild is the writer I'm talking about, and he says it best too, right? You're not going to win with the next bet. You're going to win with stars up front, top 2 lines, top 2 centers. Gotta be stars. Suzuki is a star. Kirby Dach might not be, and that's the problem there right now, going forward. So that would be great if we can add that. No,
absolutely, it would. And like I said, right, even if we miss out on a guy like Hagens, right? Again, like Michael Hage could be that.
Michael Hage could be that. That's right.
Absolutely. And
the good thing is, you just mentioned Beck and all that. Those guys, we were all pumped over the last few seasons. We're adding guys that are maybe better than them, and we can get even more excited. That's what I meant with the Beck thing. Right?
I know that. No, and look, 1,000%. Like I agree with you there, but I also just, like I said, I don't want to forget about the guys that we still have here too. Like it's never a bad thing to have a plethora of talent like that. You know what I mean? Never a bad thing.
It's never a bad thing.
And I think we can both agree Demidov is that star winger coming up. I mean, I think without a doubt, right? I think he's that one star. Suzuki, Caulfield, right? Those are the big, probably going to be the big 3.
Well, we can add another top 3 pick, say, this year.
Yeah. And like I said, Slav is there too. Slav's only 20. He's only going to get better.
Yep.
So
yeah, then it's also this rebuild is partially because they want to be good and a contender for many years to come, right?
Right.
And in order to do that, also you got to have this top talent coming in year after year. So this isn't a bad thing, at all, right? It's down the road from it. Once you're that contender, that's when it gets harder to just to get those picks, right? So. Yeah, let's get him in now while we can, I guess, while the team is in that place.
For sure. And look, even then still, right, it's not like we're No, again, like you said, it's been 3 years of this, and we've been able to add a plethora of that so far, right? And
Without a doubt.
like
Oh God.
look at other teams going in for rebuilds right now. Like I think of the Flyers.
Well, just look at the players that were in our system and here before Hughes came in.
Well, yeah, no, that
And then
too.
look what's here now. And you don't think we have so much more depth, and the quality of the talent has come up a ton. I don't know. I really don't know. All right, let's move on to the next question, but I think we might have answered it. And we're gonna talk about what's wrong with the team currently right now. But we kind of did answer it because I was gonna hold off on when you were with the regressing stuff. I was gonna hold off for this question, but we kind of answered it because that is probably the reason for what's going on, right? We all jumped the gun on the team. We all did it, and a lot of experts did it. So us as fans, I don't feel that bad that I did because I was kind of following what I was, what I was reading, what I was hearing. You got to go with that, right? I'm not an insider, so yeah, I think that's it. I don't know how. I don't think it's not the coach, it's not the management. It's not the prospects. They're good. We need a little longer to develop them. And it's a regression part of the rebuild. I don't, you got anything else to add to that? I don't have anything else to add.
I mean, look, I think you're exactly right. It's just how these things go. But like I said, you got to be there for the suffering in order to really, really enjoy being on the top of the mountain when we get back there.
Oh, without a doubt, right? If this rebuild can come in like in the 5 years, right? Yeah, just think of how much fun it's going to be to know that year in and year out, your team is going to be good.
Yeah.
Instead of hoping that off-season acquisitions and this and that, whatever, it's going to, that'll be the year. Instead of that, we can go every year.
Boston.
It's going to be good. And if they make the right tweaks, we can win a cup like that. I'd rather be there,
And look too, right? I think a lot of, like you were saying, right? A lot of the times where teams might have to make tweaks, or at least not tweaks, but like, I think a lot of times teams like that are, again, trying to make moves and such. They might not have, maybe that. That top winger, or maybe that, blue chip D-man, something like that, right? I mean, if you look at what we have in place right now going forward, right? Lane Hudson's the star on defense, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Demidov on offense. Jacob Fowler in net. Like, you already have those key pieces in place, and you have a lot of depth already. And you still have guys like Suzuki and Caulfield who are going to be stars, for the foreseeable future. You have a lot of those key pieces in place already. I think, yeah, like you said, it's just they got to just develop a little more, get more chemistry. But
as far as like winning, you want to win a cup, you want to be that guy. You're not gonna do it with Suzuki and not a star.
Right. No.
You need that, especially at center. It looks like, and I don't like saying this because I really like Doc, but it looks like maybe we need to get another star there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a key piece, and maybe to get that guy, we might have to lose, and you don't get that high draft pick, and that's just the only way to get him sometimes. So,
no, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, but like I said though, like, if that's the only piece we need, because like I said,
might not be the only, but
no, but in terms of like, or at least those key kind of areres where like you want to star, right?
No, but you're right.
The top line center.
You're kind of right.
We got two.
We're not missing much. We're not missing a lot of pieces right now.
Because if you think about it, right, like in Suzuki, Caulfield, Slav, I mean, that's the offensive big three. Demidov will get added to that. You just really need a center, and I think we have plenty of capable wings to play on the second line. You just got to add that center there, that star second line center.
You need another 2 or 3 pieces to add to the core.
Yeah.
Because you got like 5, 6 really solid core players here right now. They have to develop further, some of them, obviously, right? But yeah, you add another 1 or 2 to that core.
Right.
It's going to be a pretty good team, And I think, you got Gooley, there's guys here that'll be added to that core, obviously.
I think they're in the core. I mean, like I said, if you were to ask me right now, right, name 5 players who are the core, and that'll be added to kind of going forward. I mean, it's easy for me. Gooley, Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, and Lane Hudson. That's your core 5 right there.
I'm going to think of that. I got to think on that one for a second.
For me right now, that's your core 5. And obviously Demidov gets added next year. That's your core 6, right? Those are
you're probably right. Yeah, no, I get you.
And again, that's no disrespect to anybody else on the team, but when I think about your core of guys, your core of stars, right, that you need to be competitive with, you maybe have to add a couple more pieces there. Like I said, Demidov will be there next year. And then you add that second line center.
If you want to get to a core 8, we're about 3 pieces away.
Yeah.
One of them is coming next year.
Yeah.
And then maybe one of them's coming in the next draft.
Right. But I mean, even still too, like it's so many of those building blocks are already in place and flourishing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said too, even with the goaltending, right? Like how many teams in the rebuild, like 3 years in, would basically have their guy already set in stone, drafted, developing, playing lights out, right? Not a lot, not many.
Well, no, but that's why partially a hope for a quicker rebuild than. I mean, look at Buffalo that we just played, right?
But that's what I mean, right? And I know they have Devin Levi, but he's now,
he didn't have a great game. That he gave up 2 goals right away. No, but right, Buffalo's 13 years into a rebuild. Right, that's the horrors of a rebuild. That's what people are afraid of. But when you draft really good, really well,
which I mean, if you ask me, I think Hughes and Gorton have knocked all their drafts out of the park. I do.
Yeah, when you draft like that, you speed up your rebuild. It doesn't guarantee it yet, though, obviously, because we haven't won anything. But I mean, I like where we're at. Even though
how can you not?
This year, I like where we're at.
How can you not? I mean, like I said, we don't have to worry about, that star puck moving defenseman anymore. We don't have to worry about kind of the steady Eddie defenseman, as I like to call it.
A lot of fans are. A lot of fans are still worried about that. I don't know how they don't understand that players have to develop. I guess I don't get it. We've got. And on top of that, right? So we got these really good players in here developing. These are our players basically going forward, most of them anyway. And they want, they're not good enough or whatever. And then they want, bring up this guy and bring up that guy. I mean, these are guys maybe didn't even play in the NHL yet, just because they're having a good year down in the AHL. That's the guy that's going to make all the difference. And we're going to go from where we are now to we're going to be in the playoffs because of one rookie in Laval. I don't get that mentality of wanting, to give up on some of the guys that are here now, still developing, still gaining experience, playing well here and there, not every game, having trouble maybe with consistency, but those are the things that come in the next 2-3 years for these guys.
Right.
And defensemen, man, they're young. They're so young. They could take 5 years before they peak yet. 6 years, some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're what? Like I said, besides Matheson and Savard, Gooley's like the next oldest at 23.
Right, and an NHL defenseman peak at 28. So you're looking at guys that aren't going to hit their peaks. That's their beginning of their best years for 6-7 years yet. And we are expecting them to do miracles right now. It's the problem it's a problem. It's not a problem. It's a frustration for me having to listen to a lot of that when I'm doing a game and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's the thing. It's like, I mean, I think any sane fan would look at this team and go, something's brewing here. You just got to let it take time. You got to let the kids marinate a little bit.
Something is brewing.
They're still learning, right? Like
we sure are. No, I mean that's what it is, right? So we got to just have patience. It's patience. Patience is what's required from us and from the team. The team, I think, has the patience. Do we as fans? All right, let's get. We're gonna move on. We have an announcement to make, and that announcement is we are going to be looking for a new co-host. We want to add a third person to this podcast. So we're going to be, I guess, asking anybody watching this, if you have aspirations to do what we're doing here and you want to give it a try, let us know in our email, talkinghabs@gmx.com. It's in the description of our videos. And if we'll contact you back. We'll have a conversation and we'll give a few people a try and we'll hopefully find a third co-host. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody who is available most Wednesday nights, but flexibility is needed as well sometimes. Someone who is serious about this and can act professionally. It's very important. But only so much. Montreal-based if possible. I'd love to have somebody in the city, but it's not, it's not the only, it's not necessary, but it might put you more on the fast track for that. We want somebody who is passionate about hockey and its history. So not just someone, I like the Habs. No, somebody who's passionate about hockey, the Habs, and both's history. That's what we'd prefer. Knowledgeable about our team and the game. So that's what we're looking for. If you would like to possibly be one of the guys up here on the screen with us, get in touch with us at talkinghabs@gmx.com. Tell us why, a little bit about yourself, and we may already know something about you because you're probably a subscriber already. So do that, and we'll get back to you when you do that. And good luck to everybody. And hopefully we'll hear from some people. All right, we'll get on to the next thing. We are going to do, I don't know if you're prepared for it. I haven't really. We did at the beginning. I know I did at the beginning of the season. I did a video about season predictions for the standings, and we did it on Pucking Around podcast, which is another podcast we're on our other channel, Don't Puck with Media. All the links are in the description of all the videos. So we're going to, because of all the things that have happened with Montreal since we did that, we're going to update our prediction for the final standings, where Montreal might finish, really. So we're going to give an updated prediction. I don't know if you're prepared for that, but I'm
not really, but
I'm kind of. I mean, okay, we both had them pretty much in the same ballpark, 11th to say 14th. Let's go that. I'd say basically 11th to 13th, right? From the bottom. That's where I 12th would be exact for me, where I predicted that they'd be, right? But then they got Line A, right? Which pushed my prediction up so that I thought they would finish just outside the playoffs. Just. So that was me. I don't remember where you were at on your final prediction.
I think I had him at 13.
Neither does Matt. Yeah, you were I'm pretty sure you were somewhere around there.
Yeah. Before Line 8 was like 11. I think I was at 11. I
so
got Line A. I bumped him up a couple of points.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Basically, we were both in the same. Okay.
Yeah.
So where would you put them now? With everything we can see, factoring in Line A, say coming back from what I understand, early in January. I think early to mid January. I think is when it's basically about 2 months from now. Line A should be back in the lineup. We're in the lineup for the first time. And currently, if I'm correct, last I saw they were tied for 27th. I don't know if that's still the same today, but it was like that yesterday or the day before. I think yesterday.
As much as I hate to say it, probably somewhere around 5, 6, 7 again. Maybe. I don't know. It's tough, right?
Is that where they're at now? That's about where they're at right now. Then
Yeah.
Fifth, maybe a little better, but not much. That's fair enough. I mean, no, you could say it. Hell, it's where they're sitting at right now. I mean, for me though, I might even be worse. I think I think it's very likely even. Yeah, and I'm hoping, and in the end, I'm hoping if we're not going to finish in a playoff run, well, I want to be as close to the bottom as possible. I'd like to see them literally finish right at the bottom of the league. Why? Because then they're guaranteed a top 3 pick. Even if they don't get the number 1, at worst, they'll be third. So I like that. But I do think they're going to end up before the lottery, third from the bottom.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that when Line gets back, I don't know if that's gonna I can't find the word. It's gonna add a lot of wins to their column, right? I don't think they're gonna win a lot more than they are already. They're just gonna play a lot better and score. They're gonna play better and score a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's going to mean wins, especially when you're talking about teams now getting ready for playoff runs and all that. I don't know. So I don't know, but I think third from the bottom.
That's fair.
And I hope they hold that and get that third. I'd like to see them get a top 3 pick out of this. Because let's face it, they can call up Dobish or anybody you want to name in Laval. It's not going to turn things around.
No, and look, like I said, people are clamoring to call Waugh. I agree with kind of what they said. Like they're not going to completely hamper his development.
Yeah, why bring him up here? He's in a good situation down there. Maybe win a championship. Yeah. 50 goals. He's on pace for.
I mean, Mayu too, right? I think Mayu's going to continue to light it up down there as well.
Yeah, and they're going to keep them down there as long as they can, unless injuries, dictate that they have to. But even with injuries, look, they didn't bring Waugh up. They brought Ken Dada. Because, of course, you're going to bring Ken Dada. You're looking for a fourth-line guy. You're not going to bring Joshua Waugh up. Mm-hmm. So there's no spot for him to get big minutes and all that. So, yeah, he's better off in Laval, without a doubt. So, yeah, I don't think anybody that they can add here. The only thing that could make a difference, but I don't know what guy they're looking at, but there's rumor that Montreal is going to address the Caden Primo situation.
Oh, really?
With an addition. Now, the thing that bothers me about that is they're talking about James Reimer because he just got waived today. And on Bluesky, one of my first posts was, I hope my Habs don't claim Reimer off waivers. I don't want to see that.
Optimus Rhyme.
I don't care.
The Rhyme Minister of Defense.
I'm not going to call by his whatever. I'll say it the way I want. Homophobes don't get my right. Don't get my respect.
Yeah, I mean, he's experienced.
Experienced at what though?
I mean, what though? He's at least played. He's played a lot of the league.
He's had some good. Well. He's had some good. He has some good seasons, but I mean, I don't want him here. I don't think he'd be good in the locker room. I don't think we want a homophobic player back again. Like we had in what was his name there?
Oh, Eric Stahl.
Stahl, yeah. Right, and anybody who may be homophobic on the Habs now keeps it to themselves. Hey, everybody, we're back from technical difficulties. I don't know. My internet went down while we were recording. So we're back, and we're going to move into our next topic. And that is, we're going to take a look at last week's games. And those games are, even though we didn't do a pod last week, we would have. And if we did, the games would have been New Jersey, Toronto, and Buffalo. That's the ones we're going to talk about today, right now, for last week. Then we're going to look at Minnesota game tomorrow. We're recording this on Wednesday. The Columbus Blue Jackets game on Saturday. That's a home game. And then Edmonton's in town on Tuesday. So we'll look at that. All right, Matt, what were your thoughts on last week's games?
No,
two of them.
Yeah, two of them for sure. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of what we've been seeing all season. I didn't really watch a lot of hockey last week, but
all right, that's true. You didn't. All right, I'll lead off, and then you can make comments as we go along. How's that for these games? New Jersey was last Thursday. Was New Jersey? They were in New Jersey. It was a 5-3 loss. From what I remember of that game, Montreal didn't play very well. Yeah, just New Jersey was better than us. It was clear, and there was nothing Montreal was going to be able to do about it. From what I just remember that. It wasn't a very good game for Montreal. A forgettable kind of game that a team that's struggling, you got to put that behind you and just, you played a team that's better than you, and they just showed that they were. And that's it. I don't remember who was in nets. I want to say it was Monty. And I don't know. He was okay. I don't know if I want to blame the loss on him exactly. I'm trying to think of right. It was Monty in nets there, right? Right, because Primo played in Buffalo, and even then he wasn't that great. And then against Toronto, I want to say the team just didn't show up. I don't know what else to say against Toronto. The team didn't show up. Monty wasn't great, and I believe did he get chased, and then Primo came in, and then Primo with Buffalo? Yeah. It's hard to even know anymore with these guys. They're not completing games anymore. So the New Jersey game and the Toronto game, I so thought Montreal would bounce back against Toronto. We beat them 1-0 to start the season, so I really thought they would at least show up for that game, right? It's Toronto. They always elevate their game, and they just did not. They did not elevate their game, and we played a better team, and I hate to say that. And a team without Austin Matthews, a perfect chance for Montreal to beat them. It's a team that hadn't scored an even strength goal in like 3 games. Montreal should have played better against Toronto, and why
didn't they have Matthews?
He was out at that point. He missed 3 games already with an upper body injury.
Oh, okay.
And I know he sat out that one, and I think they played Toronto the next time. And
Toronto played Toronto?
No, I mean Boston is what I meant. And I believe he sat out for that one as well. So I don't know if he's back yet or what happened with that. I know they beat Boston, so I don't know.
They got shut out by the Senators the other night.
Yeah. Yeah, Boston's playing as bad as us right now.
No. Toronto got shut out by the Senators.
Oh, Toronto? By the Senators?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I like hearing that.
Boston also lost to Ottawa. I was at that game.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not playing good hockey right now.
No, that's right. It was Ottawa that beat Boston, as I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes, it wasn't Toronto that I'm thinking of. Okay, so that's the 2 shitty games. They didn't play very well at all in any of them. Now it was an odd 12:30 start on a Monday afternoon in Buffalo, and it's because it was Veterans Day. So even though not a national holiday in either country, they still played a 12:30 afternoon start, which was weird because there were like 4 or 5 other games Monday, and only Montreal's game was early like that. So it was an up and down kind of game. Right. And it literally was, right? I think Montreal scored first. They scored like 20 seconds later, probably less than that. But I think 22 seconds, actually. 1-1. We scored in the next period. They scored right after us. It was like that kind of thing. It just switched hands till the third period where they took the lead. And then Montreal took over the game. So it was just a weird game. but a fun one to watch because Montreal wasn't dominated. If anything, Montreal was the better team. Sure, they gave up 5 goals so defensively, maybe not, but they were able to overcome all that and pull that off. Did you see that? No, you wouldn't have seen the Buffalo game, that's for sure.
Well, I only saw like 8 minutes of it when I was on my lunch break.
Yeah, it was just it was a fun game to watch because even though they weren't playing great defensively, well, neither was Buffalo, and they were able to come back and keep it exciting. You were on the edge of your seat almost at times, and yeah, it was just an enjoyable afternoon matinee game. You don't get a lot of those in a season anyway, and the fact that they won was what was important. They broke a 6-game losing streak doing that, and and who knows what will happen now because I think they're playing a tough game on tomorrow night, as a matter of fact. Did you want to add anything about those 3 games that you didn't really see? All right, so now we're in Minnesota. The surprisingly 3rd overall at last I checked, so I don't know if that's changed since yesterday or the day before. 3rd overall, I totally had them not even making the playoffs. Thought they wouldn't be a good team, and they're like a surprisingly good team. So I think we go back to the losing column tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a real tough game.
That's it. I just talked for like nonstop for 5 minutes.
No, it's gonna be a tough game. Kaprizov's arguably the best player in hockey right now. Like he's right up there, with the McKinnon and
yeah, he's playing well.
Those guys.
Definitely.
So it's gonna be tough to slow him down. I agree. Probably gonna end up in the loss column. I like to see Caulfield nab another goal though. That'd be cool. Keep him on this pace, but I think overall it's gonna be a real tough game.
Yeah, I think I don't hold out much hope for a win there, but a 7-5 win like that might be just what they needed too, right? Mm-hmm. Come from behind. Sort of, right? They came from behind a couple of times, although they did take the lead the first 2 times. And then I think the rest of the way, they were coming back. So good character game, and one that was probably good for their confidence overall, not Caden Primo's confidence, but overall they're good for their confidence. I still don't know. I still don't think they're going to beat Minnesota. And I don't know if traditionally they don't do well against Minnesota or what, but I think that might be the case. Mm-hmm. It's a difficult team for them. So I don't hold out much hope there. I'm going to say that's probably going to be a loss. Saturday, Columbus Blue Jackets come to town. And
should win that game.
A win.
Should win that game. Yeah.
What's that?
No, yeah, that's an easily winnable game, I think.
It's an easily winnable game. Doesn't mean they will win, but right. Yeah, I think that's a winnable game for Montreal. I'm going to say they're going to win that game. Yeah, that's in my opinion. Then on Monday, they're back on Prime. That is Prime, the Amazon Prime network. For the Monday game, they're against Edmonton. And just want to say, I really like what Prime is doing. At first, I didn't really want to see this happen. Prime's doing a really good job. So if you haven't,
the picture quality is amazing.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to watch a game on Prime, like it's picture quality, like is amazing. And you know what? They do a good job with everything else. Like I didn't find
they really do
about it. Yeah, so surprising. Anyway, it's Edmonton. They're at home. I think you know what? They could do well against Edmonton, especially at home. So I'm looking at that and say that's a potential win there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they certainly could. I definitely think Edmonton has weaknesses they could probably exploit. Should be a tough back and forth game, but I think they could win that game.
I know there's one Edmonton Oiler looking forward to this game.
Kulak?
Jeff Skinner.
Oh.
He's struggling. He's got 6 points.
I gotta go claim him in fantasy. Hold on.
he's got 6 points. I was reading today. 6 points in 16 games.
All right, so he scored a hat trick, is what you're saying.
Right. This is the only problem for that game is Jeff Skinner is probably just drooling, looking at that game, saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna get my game back against them." So,
it's gonna happen.
maybe not. Maybe because he's in Edmonton. Well, he's not been anywhere else but Buffalo. Right? And Montreal, listen, Montreal not always good against Buffalo. Yet they play pretty good against Edmonton, especially at home.
They do, but it's still Jeff
Skinner. So maybe this is a chance for that.
It's still Jeff Skinner.
I know, but maybe that relationship takes a turn, a different turn now. We'll see.
Maybe you never know.
But other than Jeff Skinner there, I think it's a winnable game for Montreal, but they'll have to play a good 60-minute game.
Oh, for sure.
All right, those are that's last week, next week. So we're gonna end this with a new segment called the Habs 3 Stars of the Game. That's where we'll give of the week. So obviously the 3 players we thought were the best for the Habs all week. I'll let Matt go first because it might be pretty quick because he didn't see too many of the games last week. So go ahead, Matt.
No, but I do watch replays and I do look at stats.
Let's see what you got.
Oh shit. Camera. For me, Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson, and probably Nick Suzuki. I go with those 3.
You're just gonna give their names and not reasons why?
Suzuki's finally finding his form. Caulfield's still on his his goal scoring streak, and or not streak, but he's still red hot. I think Lane Hudson's been one of our most consistent players this season. He's still creating a lot, still getting assists. For me, it's those 3. No one else has really stood out. Slav. I gotta argue. I could maybe put Slav up there too, with his assists. But those 3 I think have been our best 3 players.
Okay, for the week though, we're talking about for the week specifically, right?
I know.
All right, so for me, I've got Nick Suzuki as the first star of the week. Just that Buffalo game right there. Now
he was
nobody
really
played
good.
well against Toronto or against New Jersey, so I'm basing most of these 3 picks based mostly off that Buffalo game. So I got Nick, I got Cole because Cole has been scoring goals. And he's doing what we've all been expecting. And he had a good week. And then I've got Slav because Slav had such a fantastic game against Buffalo that I think he earned the 3rd star of the week. But my honorable mention is Lane Hudson because I think even on a week that there's 3 other players you could mention, Lane Hudson's probably at least going to get an honorable mention every week.
But he's been so consistent, right? Like I told you too, like for me, like Slav, if I could have 4, Slav would be there too. But I'm also a little bit biased towards Lane Hudson because he went to BU. But
he played well enough. No, he still played well enough. Just I thought Slav had such a strong game.
Oh, he really did.
He
really did.
Buffalo, All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. So I should have ran the thing that I forgot to run, but don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like the show. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave us a comment in the comment section about anything we talked about here. Especially if you want to, you're interested in maybe applying to become a co-host.
Yeah, send in your applications. We don't require a 5-paragraph essay. I got Rick to waive that.
Yes, just a little bit about yourself that we might not know, especially if we already know you from the chat, that kind of thing. So, so do that. What else? I lost myself there. Let us know what you think. Were we crazy? Were we not crazy? You agree with us? You don't agree with us? That kind of thing. And we will be back next week for another episode. And hey, there's a full year right there. We just completed our first year doing HabNormals. Let us know what you think about that too. We'd really like to hear from you guys. And I'm gonna stop, I don't know, babbling away here. Thanks for watching. We do appreciate it as always. Please leave us a comment, and we'll see you next week. Till then, stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. And I just want to make sure my ending is set up, and we'll see you next week. Ciao, everybody.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
What happened?
I don't know. Music's gone. I don't know.
How did the music go away?